Congressional Black Caucus dropped a new video targeting Donald Trump when it comes to his statement, what the hell do African Americans have to lose for voting for him?
African American communities have suffered. What the hell do you have to lose by trying something new like Trump?
Donald Trump and leaders of the Congressional Black Caucus met at the White House.
We brought him this book, 130-page policy document.
We wanted to answer for him the question of what do we have to lose?
The Southern Poverty Law Center, a nonprofit that tracks extremist groups and hate crimes, has reported a rise in bias-related attacks.
They were people protesting very quietly. I think there's blame on both sides. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field?
Words of advice to law enforcement.
Please don't be too nice.
Trump's rhetoric, the nature of the campaign, even the slogan, Make America Great Again, has given license to hate.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions is ordering prosecutors to go after the toughest possible sentences, including those with mandatory minimums.
The new Trump administration plan would raise the rent for people living in public housing.
The Trump administration today reversed an Obama-era policy that encouraged colleges to consider race as a factor in admissions.
His presidency is a step backwards for race relations in America.
What Trump did was end $7 billion in Obamacare subsidies to insurance companies, payments designed to help them discount prices for low-income customers.
You are talking about millions of people losing benefits, not just the 30 million that would lose insurance, but even people with employer-based insurance.
It would repeal the insurance subsidies that are helping millions of Americans afford insurance. It would end the Medicaid expansion, and it would allow higher premiums for people with pre-existing conditions. What about that improves health care?
The decrease of the black unemployment rate has slowed under Donald Trump.
Americans earning less than $75,000 would face substantial tax increases.
Trump has a program or policies that are not benefiting African Americans.
This commission was set up specifically to manufacture evidence of voter fraud in order to suppress the votes of minority voters.
I don't think that we can trust our president when it comes to protecting voting rights.
President Trump has only been in office for 9 months, and he's nominated a number of nominees. 4 of them have been found unqualified.
90% of the nominees are white, 80% are male.
Some of them are far right. The person who had on his blog linked to white supremacists.
He picked the one guy who has specifically written that a president, in fact, should not be the subject of a criminal investigation, which the president is right now.
Donald Trump's lies just passed a milestone, crossing the 2,000 mark.
3,000, 4,000.
This Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story.
I believe there was collusion.
Donald Trump obviously is in debt to Vladimir Putin.
What the hell do you have to lose?
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Now, a word from one of our Roland Martin Unfiltered partners. You've heard me say it before, and I will say it again. Write down this website, marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. I'm going to tell you why it matters. Legal marijuana has grown to become a $9 billion industry in roughly 6 years. Forbes magazine predicts the market will continue to grow to nearly $50 billion in the next 10 years. So whether you like it or not, legal marijuana is a growing industry, and it is only going to get bigger. Now, if you're an investor, you get it. You look for business models that are easy to understand in industries that are trending up. Our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate made their business very simple. They buy land that supports legal marijuana operations and lease it to high-paying tenants. So you are investing in the landlord of a licensed marijuana farm. Stop working so hard for your money. Let your money start working for you by investing in the legal cannabis industry. You can invest as little as $300 up to $10,000. But you can't wait. This crowdfunding opportunity is only available for a few more days. They say that you either make things happen, watch things happen, or sit around wondering what happened. Don't be the person watching and wondering. Don't let another investment boom get away from you. It's time to make something happen for you, your finances, and your family. And don't forget my pro tip. To be included, you must complete and confirm your application. And be sure to complete the process. Go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game, folks. Do it now before time runs out. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. Dee, if we have to answer the question, what has Donald Trump done for black folks?
Let's see. As a graduate of an historically black college and university, Fisk University, he did something that President Obama could have done but didn't do.
That is?
By forgiving
$322 billion loan?
$320 million loan.
Okay.
For the schools that were affected by Katrina.
Okay.
And unemployment under President Trump, not only has minority unemployment plummeted, but the unemployment gap has narrowed 3% for African Americans and 0.8% for Hispanics.
What did Trump do for that black unemployment?
So for those are two things that he's done for blacks, and not
But
two
what
things.
targeted program did he do to reduce unemployment for people, for black and brown people? Targeted, that caused that reduction.
I can't tell you exactly what. I don't have that in my notes, but in regards to black Americans, in regards to Americans, period, for me and my family, in terms of our safety, I do feel somewhat safer.
What safety?
In the building of the wall or making sure that and keeping America first, that, in my opinion, has resonated with you.
No. Hold on.
America first.
Hold on, Scott. Hold up. How are we safer? Because when you say safer, how are we safer when you have an attorney general?
But you can't. Hold
on, one second.
People are shooting.
Hold on, one second. You just said.
Okay.
Me and my family are safer.
I said we feel safe.
Okay, and so I'm asking you the question: how are you safer? Then you referenced a wall. A wall hasn't been built.
And it hasn't been built. And so let me.
So how is a non-existent wall making you safer?
Is that he is making waves in terms of trying to keep America safe and keeping America first. And for me, that's important.
No. Again, hold up. I'm asking again, how? I don't want a phrase.
Right.
I want an actual example. How?
He said when he the wall, or he wanted to keep America safe. In doing so, he's been trying to make strides of doing that. But you can't, things don't happen automatically, and you do have to work towards certain things. And so I do understand that.
Like when he said Mexico was going to pay for it, and they're not paying for it. American taxpayers are paying for it.
Right.
When I also think about African Americans, you talk about being safe. I think about also African Americans being safe from police departments. And when the Attorney General of the United States actually stands before cops on multiple occasions and saying, we're going to do away with these consent decrees. When he came in and immediately tried to do away with the consent decree in Baltimore, a consent decree the city of Baltimore agreed with and the police department agreed with, and the federal judge smacked his hand down. He went to outside of Chicago a few weeks ago, gave a speech saying that these consent decrees have hurt the morale of cops. He did not say a single word about the people, how they have been impacted by these cops. How has that? You keep talking about jobs. You keep saying jobs. I need somebody who is a Republican to explain to me how can somebody talk about jobs who in his budget wants to eliminate the National Minority Supplier Development Council. It's in his budget. They want to eliminate all those offices. Second of all, this administration also has made it hard for black-owned businesses to even get contracts because under Obama, they broke the contracts down into smaller contracts. The same thing Mayor Jackson did in Atlanta when he became mayor in 1973, and black people had 0.0012%, which is basically 10 cents of every $100 of every contract. What did Trump do? He came in and actually bundled them back together, making it harder for black folks to actually access those contracts. When Secretary Betsy DeVos has for-profit colleges off the hook and allowed them to come back in when the Obama administration was removing them from access to dollars. That's to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which significantly increased the number of black people who actually have, for the first time, health insurance. Not only that, what has this man done for criminal justice reform, which I'm still waiting to see? And then he said, hey, we'll take it up after the election. What has this man done when it came to the issue of voter suppression? And we've seen in North Carolina, in Florida, in Mississippi, in Alabama, when the Obama administration, on their side, they sided with the plaintiffs when there was a voter ID case in Texas. 5 federal judges, 5 different judges said it was racially discriminatory as the Trump administration on the Jeff Sessions came in and sided with Texas. Please explain to me, with all of that, I've given you at least 8 examples of help black folks.
I think he's probably closer to black unity than we've been in about 40 years. Donald Trump is a hateful...
And another thing.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump is a hateful, lying, mentally ill, xenophobic con artist. And he, if nothing else, everything you listed, Roland, of course, is factual evidence. Let's just look at the intangibles. When you stand in a crowd in Mississippi and mock a white woman, when you talk about...
I don't agree with that.
No, it's not a matter of agreeing. I don't know. Where did you go? I don't know. No, he lied. He said the only thing she remembered was having one beard. That's not only a bald-faced lie. I'm not going to say he's a liar in that regard because the man is mentally ill. At that point, he's playing to his base. His base is white supremacists. He has staffed his cabinet and his staff with white supremacists. Stephen Miller should have no business in the city of Washington, D.C. or around any decent human being. His xenophobic policies, they are trying to make America again, as if wherever. But when he was laughed at the nation last week, that was in part because he has started this trade skirmish, to use Warren Buffett's, he says, it's not a war yet. Pick on China. You know what China did? China began to identify his little redneck racist friends in the United States Congress, like Paul Ryan from Janesville, Wisconsin, and Senator Mitch McConnell, and they said, let's target bourbon. Let's target cranberries. The Chinese are going to eviscerate the American economy if they get a chance. And if you look at the map, there was one in the New York Times today, the communities that are going to be hurt the most are the ones that voted for Donald Trump.
Scott, this is the same administration. It's the same administration. It's the exact same administration that targeted Black Lives Matter activists and actually did away with the budget to monitor white supremacists in this country, individuals who have been targeting people of color. When you've had white folks in the Midwest and white have Donald Trump has a hate and exactly how any of that benefits black people.
Well, it certainly doesn't. But if you look at the rhetoric of the Klansmen, of the Nazis, of white supremacists, come on, Scott, and you look at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, as well as many in his administration, that rhetoric, they mirror one another. It's right out of the handbook of the Ku Klux Klan. That's right. But more importantly, the deeper and darker damage done to this country by Donald Trump lies in him giving license to those who don't look like me. That's right. Being comfortable bringing it mainstream, their hate speech in regard to people of color, their not even dog whistles that we hear, their direct rhetoric of scaring their constituency. It's all based on fear that people of color are taking their jobs, even though he claims that he's been a great job creator for people of color, black and brown, but he's brought it mainstream, people of color, just based on his rhetoric.
Again,
Again, there wouldn't be those attacks without his rhetoric.
Here's the deal, Dee. I operate in facts. Okay. I operate in facts. And if you can list a number of different things, that's fine. But when every time this administration, all they say is, oh, look at number of black people. Let's look at the unemployment rate, as if that's the only thing that black people actually pay attention to. There are other issues that we care about that impact us in a much greater way. And again, I'm still trying to see it. I'm trying to see it when this administration has had to fire or force folks to resign repeatedly who have had racist commentary on radio, on blogs, and in print, who have worked for this administration in commerce, in housing, in the White House. They had to force out a speechwriter who was in the West Wing, who was attending a conference, sitting right next to a white supremacist, and they said, what's wrong with that? You've got Miller, who spent white supremacist who I interviewed, who said that was my mentor when I was at Duke University. I'm just still trying to understand. Please show me the body of evidence. I will gladly cite it, repeat it, and investigate it. But if I can show you in housing, in health care, in education, in fiscal policy, when it comes to even our businesses. And let's all remind you, National Minority Supply Development Council was created by Richard Nixon, a Republican. Republicans are allowing this man to eviscerate an office that actually is the only federal office designed to help minority businesses start businesses. What has he done for black people that I can actually look at and say it's factually correct?
I'm a small business owner myself. Small business optimization is higher.
Hold on, no. Define that. What do you mean it's higher?
It means that in small businesses, and create and build my business through the National Minority Supplier Development.
He wants to get rid of it.
And his daughter just met with the new president, Adrian, a couple of weeks ago.
No. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, 1 second. There are 2.6 million black-owned businesses in America.
Right.
2.5 million have one employee. 7 years ago, we had 1.9 million black-owned businesses, 1.8 million one employee. 7 years ago, we had 1.9 million black-owned businesses that had an average annual revenue of $110,000. Now that we have 700,000 more black-owned businesses, they have an annual revenue of $54,000, cut in half. So please tell me what the hell has been optimized?
What I'm saying is that from where I'm seating, and what I've seen, I feel as though for Bass Public Affairs and for other businesses, things have gotten better. We've been able to actually communicate. And we've been able to actually grow our business.
Okay, here's the deal.
But in regards to what you were saying earlier, that
does your firm serve conservative interest? Hold up. Does your firm serve conservative interest?
Yes.
Okay. Of course your doors are open because you got a Republican who's the president.
But not just conservative interests. We
might be more than that.
Wait a minute. A basic question. We are a Christian-based business. So we will do business with anyone whose views are in line with ours. So we're not going to say, no, we're not going to assist, or no, we're not going to help or market someone because they're whatever. But if their views are in line with ours, then yes, we will work with them.
But here's my point. I don't see the evidence in a variety of areas.
With Donald Trump,
I mean, let's take our pick. No. Let's take our pick. Okay. Hold up. Let me go by department.
Yeah.
Where's the evidence in housing?
Well, he's raising rents.
No. Where's the evidence in commerce? Where's the evidence in DOD? Where's the evidence in Interior? Where's the evidence in the SBA?
Are you asking all of us?
Where's the evidence? Anybody. Where's the evidence in the VA?
We know one thing. He has deregulated.
Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence in state?
It's in the opposite direction.
All I'm saying, just please offer me.
Right.
Offer me even a hint of evidence.
I just got one question. Okay. Do you feel, as a conservative, an obligation to defend the Trump administration?
No, and that's
simple.
No,
then you don't have to defend it. But I would say that.
What I'm saying
because
is
they hijacked, I think, what people might consider conservatives.
Neither myself nor my sister nor anybody at Bass Public Affairs, we will never say that everything that the president says or does is correct.
Now that's important.
And
that's important because the Republican Party has been hijacked by Donald Trump. So in other words, when I see an orange
hatch, and that is a problem with the fact that conservatives will co-sign everything the president does, and you can't do that. And I would never do that.
This is what's missing from this dialogue.
Scott, go ahead. Final comment before I got to bring in my next question.
So I will say yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. And like when you said earlier in regards to him mocking the president, horrible things that he's done and said are absolutely wrong.
What's wrong when this man is called shitty countries that people look like us?
You're absolutely right.
But what is missing, and what would help Donald Trump, what's missing, which all of those departments, there could have been a positive answer to that, but he has no urban agenda. And remember, what he said before, he said, what do you have to lose? He talked about the unemployment rate, the violence rate, and yet he hasn't invested in the killing fields of Chicago. Exactly. And that was always his best example.
Because he uses Chicago at every point, but he hasn't even done that.
So when does the agenda? When do we get his urban agenda?
It don't exist. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Because guess what? We come back live January 3rd. The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Hello. Y'all want some of this? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. There's only one show out here, folks, in the digital world that's focused on you. Because here's the piece. I ain't afraid of Fox News. Come back live January 3rd. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.